When I was younger, we frequently visited my grandparents around the holiday, even though we didn't live in a small town. My aunts lived 2 houses down from my grandparents. The lady in the house between was creepy. She was a large woman, over 6 feet. She wore logging chains around her neck, a dress, and work boots. The only time I remember seeing her outside was either in her garden or in the back when she was washing the outside of her house, scrubbing the actual building. She did this often. During these times, she would yell at us kids and call us all kinds of things. She would tell us the devil would be coming for us. The adults told us to leave her alone and to avoid her. We would run the distance between my aunts and my grandparents because when you passed by, she would be watching from the windows. It was creepy, and we never went alone. One Halloween, one of the cousins dared us to trick-or-treat at her house. I remember how scared I was, but I didn't want to be called chicken. Plus, I was going with the group. One of us rang the doorbell, and there was a lot of banging noises inside the house, like doors slamming. When she answered the door, she had a severed head in her hands, and we all went screaming. The adults told us it was a Halloween prop, and we knew we shouldn't have been messing with her, and that we deserved to be scared. About a month later, my parents got a phone call that the lady had tried killing my aunt while she was bringing in the groceries and had my young cousin in her arms. The lady had one of those rope saws and had come up behind my aunt with it. She put it over her head and around her neck, preceding the saw. My aunt naturally flipped and started kicking the door. My uncle came and beat the lady down with a fire poker. The police investigation revealed that the woman had been digging tunnels under her home, which were coming up under my aunt's. She had been bringing the dirt up and putting it in the raised beds of the gardens. She also had a shrine of some sort underground which had a few severed heads around it. My aunt survived, by the way, but has a long scar across her neck. This took place a while ago. I was 13 and my family had just moved to a new town. A new friend of mine from school and I had made plans to go trick-or-treating together. At the time, I remember thinking I was a bit too old to still be trick-or-treating, but who doesn't want free candy? My friend and I figured that we still had 1 year of trick-or-treating left in us. Because we were 13 and lived in a fairly safe neighborhood, my parents thought it was fine for us both to go trick-or-treating together without adult supervision. Everything was going great and we were having fun, getting some solid candy. Then we rang on one guy's doorbell. The porch light was on and there was a pumpkin or two, so we figured the people in the house were likely to be handing out candy. A middle-aged man opened the door. At first I was glad because he was dressed in a Halloween costume and happy to see my friend and I, so I felt we were in for some top-tier candy. I don't even remember what candy he handed out, but I do remember what happened next. He asked us to enter into his home, which was weird. We were 13 years old, so we didn't really think anything of it. Then he asked if he could take our photo. He said he has always liked to take photos of kids every Halloween because he loved seeing the costumes. On one of his walls were a bunch of pictures of different random unrelated children in Halloween costumes. At this point, even being a dumb 13-year-old, I was starting to get kinda creeped out. But I figured it was best not to upset the man and let him take the pictures so we can go. So he snaps the photos of us, and then he pulls out a clipboard and a sheet of paper. On it a bunch of names written in childish handwriting. He says he likes the kids whose pics he snaps sign their names so he can know who they are. At this point, we were both mega creeped out. We should have just ran away, but we were too conditioned to not be rude. I decided to sign a fake name. He looked at the paper, looked back at me, then down back at the paper. Then he repeated the fake name I'd given him and nodded. Luckily after that he didn't do anything and we were free to leave, but it definitely creeped us both out. At this time I thought it was just an eccentric guy, but as an adult looking back on the story, it seems much more sinister. I'm so glad nothing happened to us, and hope nothing bad happens to any other kids. Halloween with all these costumes, kids trick-or-treating in the dark, and minimal parent supervision could be a great opportunity for predators to get kids alone in their homes with no one knowing the kids' whereabouts. Stay safe out there, and happy Halloween.